Part of what I was thinking a lot of during this episode is God, this feels like a Silver Age Batman story. Hey there, Toonami faithful, and welcome back aboard Toonami Absolution, where we talk about the shows that made us us and the shows that made you you. Once again, we are your hosts. My name is Alex.
I'm Sam.
And I'm John. Batman the Animated Series, P.O.V, debuted 18th of September 1992, and The Forgotten debuted October 8th, 1992. So we have, baby's first Rashomon for P.O.V.
I mean, it's fine, but that's not how I remember it. This is maybe a lackluster week, I think, in terms of Batman the Animated Series pickings, guys. We're still in those rough early days.
Yeah, I have. Go ahead.
Oh no. I was just gonna say, yeah, no, this did feel like a pretty light. Both of these episodes felt like they kind of belonged in a different show.
Yeah, I have a fondness of P.O.V. I quite like the format, but it's certainly not the strongest episode we'll see. It You can clearly tell something doesn't quite click there.
There's certain, I mean, POV is the better of the two by a significant margin. If only because it finally gives Renee Montoya dialogue, which is, we saw her silently last week. We actually give her some, quite a bit to do in this episode. I think I mentioned this last week too. I'm kind of sick of I'm done with Harvey Bullock being an asshole. Like he can be a klutz, he can be kind of a goofball, he can be, but at a certain point it's like Batman's on your side, you moron. He has saved your life multiple times. You need to shut up and go crawl back to the watering hole that you crawled out of.
So you're
It's
just done with Harvey Bullock in general because he will always be an asshole.
He'll
it's
always be an asshole, but there's a level of I don't like this Batman guy, and it's like, shut up.
I sure don't like
it's
him not one bit.
especially weird in this episode because there's the first half framing devices that we're going back through flashbacks of a sting that went wrong because the lieutenant, I'm not sure if the lieutenant would do this, but the lieutenant is basically trying to work out who is lying. And the argument is, did Bullock go in early or did Montoya turn up late? But we clearly see that Bullock is lying. He went in early. And he's never punished for that. Like, he gets his badge back at the end and Montoya says, oh, we did it as a team. It's like, no, Montoya, you risked your life here. He was lying, like literally lying in an investigation. Like, I was waiting for Gordon to be like, you got off here, but I know. Pull yourself in, boy. No one ever calls him on it. It's really weird because, yeah, he nearly got two other people fired and technically nearly got Montoya killed, though that is kind of her fault for being like, well, I'm off the force now. What do I do now I'm off the force? Solve crimes anyway.
I mean, I
Well,
love her. She's great as the question.
I was gonna say that is the attitude that makes her the question later on.
I guess your argument if you get pulled over is like, well, it's never stopped Batman.
Never stop Batman.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. It's also sort of held down by we get like a villain who is never named. We never learn this boss henchman's name. He's one of the. This is the first episode we see without a recurring Batman villain. This is the sort of first episode where we never learn the identity of the villain that isn't a two-parter.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, not even any hints at Rupert Thorne, who, will be a recurring mobster baddie for at least the first three seasons of this show, or volumes, whatever we're calling it. Yeah, it's just kind of like, let's just do Rashomon with the police.
Atomon.
I'm Batamon. I think that's a Digimon. I do. We did mention briefly the format of this episode with the different conflicting POVs and all the different stories and how they match up. I have a feeling this one was based off of a comic or some comic storyline. Can somebody correct me if I'm wrong there? Because it
I
feels like something that was done.
believe there's a Batman Black and White that has a very similar format, but can't tell you off the top of my head if that came out before or after.
Mm. Sam, you got any Batman tidbits for me on that?
If anything, it would be like something by like Steve Englehart, because so much of animated series draws from the Steve Englehart, Marshall Rogers era, Strange Apparitions, late 70s, early 80s, to the point where they straight up do Jokerfish and stuff like that. Rupert Thorne being the big bad mobster and in Strange Apparitions. Uh, but having said that, do I remember any Steve Englehart specific Rashomon episodes? No, I do not.
The problem with remembering Batman comics is there's been a lot of them, and there's more every second.
Yeah.
It's all Rashomon all the way down when it comes to Batman. There's certain quality to Rashomon in the Batman universe.
Yeah, I think what just lets this down is we don't really go full Rashomon. Like the stories interconnect; they don't contradict, which is the main lie is that Bullock went in early. But even then, that doesn't really affect how Bruce pans out. Like Bruce appears to all of them. I do like how the rookie treats Batman as a wizard. He's like, then he flicked his wrist and the guy fell down, which I like, but the Batarang is clearly drawn in there. So it's like, so this guy is just blind. Got it. This guy cannot see obvious things.
He is a police officer in Gotham City.
Don't be mean to not Jimmy Olsen over here, okay? He's doing his best.
He was great. I loved his actually Montoya had it as well. His very chunky sweater that the GPD apparently gets sometimes.
Yeah.
The tactical sweater. It's one of my defining memories of this show is that the police all wear sweaters, which is such a late 40s noir thing because they couldn't have official uniforms back in old films. So everyone just got chunky sweaters.
Which makes me think that it's like perpetually autumn in Gotham City. Otherwise, I mean, I guess we did just come off a summer episode with the Joker garbage.
But that's just it, right? Is like Gotham City is a lot like New York. It's either insanely hot and disgusting and moist out, or it's balls cold for 9 months out of the year. There's no in between.
Yeah. It's Chicago, right? It's Chicago.
Oh man, Chicago's even worse for the winter.
Yeah.
The Batsuit has those little fans in it to keep him nice and ventilated.
Yeah, that's why I never minded the cloth batsuit. It's like, oh, well, it's not tactical. It's like, man, he's got to breathe. That body's got to breathe.
You know, you're swinging all over the place. You're going to sweat. He will die of heat stroke.
Yeah.
There's an Adam West interview I really like where someone brings up like it's after the Batman films come. It's like why was your costume fabric? It's like because I had to move around in it on set for 12 hours a day. Like that's why the TV series worked because I could be in it for more than 2 hours, so we could film episodes.
He could move his neck back then. You know how hard it is to find a Batman who can move his neck in live action? Crazy.
Well, it's so they can't be cowardly. You've always got to look forward at your enemy. Well, that's the Sontarans.
It's more like being a horse. You know, you can't have peripheral vision on Batman or he gets distracted.
He's got the bat blockers on.
The bat blinders.
The points go like slide down to the sides of the cowl.
So this episode did get a lot cut, according to director Kevin Altieri. He said, we cut out flashbacks to Montoya's youth where she was called a liar, and flashbacks to Bullock's youth when he was playing high school football, when his dad yells at him because he was using teamwork. The dad would have said, don't be a team player, be a star. Being a team player is for losers. Go out for number one, pal. And
yeah,
okay.
I mean, at the end of the day, I don't need the character work.
No, it does explain. The only thing we sort of lose by that is Montoya freaking out when she gets called a liar, which felt very weird because it is odd to have the only woman in the room take a little bit of pressure and start having basically a full-scale meltdown. And this is the police, like because you'd think, because you're a cop, surely you know how internal affairs works. You'd be prepared for this. Well, I guess you'd have a union. I guess that's what Gordon was. And Bruce Timm was like, standards and practices had a fit because there was so much violence. I had to dance around it by explaining the difficulties created when we took out all those flashbacks. They had us make a number of changes. Originally, the scene where the driller is going after Montoya with the drill went on a lot longer. The guy chased her on top of a big pile of crates and he was ramming the drill into the crate. We got into a lot of trouble with that.
No drills.
Yeah, I got... For once, I'm on standards and practices side. Driller Killer was a little bit intense for a children's film. That's quite a horrible way to go.
It's a little much right there, guys.
Yeah, I do like in this case the breakdown episode is like, so we had all these flashbacks, standards and practice went, no, this is too slow. So we put a load of action scenes in, standards and practice come back, goes, too much action, too violent. So we've taken out all the rest of the episode. What do we do?
Yeah. Typical S&P.
This fun bit of trivia, Kevin Conroy only has 5 lines in this entire episode. This makes it the shortest dialogue of Batman in any episode of the show.
That's interesting.
I like it conceptually. I like the idea of Batman sometimes being a supporting character, which we get, and I've got Batman in my basement as well, which is another first season gem. The um, yeah, but it's just there is something missing here. Uh, yeah, there's something is, and it's not the Batman aspect of it. But there's something in the execution that's missing.
You can clearly see the point where the two scripts meld, which is when Montoya goes into the warehouse, and we suddenly end up in a like the first part is an all right Rashomon episode. It doesn't really say the stories don't contradict enough because the key of a really good Rashomon episode is you kind of need to let the audience pick the holes themselves, which is what if you haven't seen the original film, that's the best part of the original film. There's a lot. It doesn't tell you a lot of the details. You have to spot them. And then the second half is a perfectly acceptable. The second half feels like a cold open. Like that's what we'd get at the start of like a Joker episode, Bruce taking down sort of generic, vaguely German-esque gangster, and then on the way back, Alfred's like, "Oh, the Joker's hit Gotham." Then we go into like the main plot. It just feels like you can feel the weld of the two scripts, and it doesn't quite work.
Yeah, but it's
But
still better than our second episode.
yes,
I was
two things before we do that. This is the first voice acting credit of Ron Perlman this episode.
Hey,
oh.
Yeah, so it has one good thing, and well, you probably my favorite part of this whole episode is one of the gangsters tries to, and excuse me for one brief moment, tries to kill Batman with a forklift.
we love
Sorry,
to we
had to
stand,
get that.
we
Had to get
stand
that in.
Tom Turbo in this house.
We do, and that was the that was the whole episode for me. I just was like, oh great, someone is dying to forklift.
See, we didn't get a lot of Batman or Bruce Wayne in POV, but you know where we get a lot of kind of Bruce Wayne in this Chain Gang episode, which was just animated Green Mile in a very weird way, and also Holes.
The Forgotten is So plot for the Forgotten is Bruce hears like the homeless people are being kidnapped. He disguises himself as a homeless person, Sherlock Holmes style. Gets distracted by a cat, gets knocked out, and then gets put in a mine. But he now has amnesia.
Yeah, develop very convenient plot amnesia.
And then he learns that his capitalistic rich boy guilt will not save the homeless people of Gotham City.
Yeah.
It's that whole dream sequence with him crying and handing out money did hit in a very strange way.
Yeah, there's a Bruce Timm quote I kind of agree with here, which is Sean Derrick was big on doing shows with social messages. And my big problem with message shows is that you can't solve the world's problems in a half-hour cartoon. If you raise the issue of homelessness, what can you do? It makes the episode look very exploitative because you're just using the problem as an exotic background. You can't discuss the problem on any meaningful level in a 22-minute action cartoon. So I put in the dream sequence of Bruce in the barracks where these multitudes of people are looking to Bruce for a handout and he doesn't have enough money for them all and they're all surrounding him and suffocating him. It's not enough for him to put a band-aid on the problem at the end by offering the two guys a job. It just doesn't work. And yeah, he's right. The problem in this episode is it kind of skirts around the Gotham having a load of homeless problems and this guy gets off pretty light considering he's running effectively what is like a southern plantation mine.
It's like human trafficking into this mine. It's crazy.
It's also like weird, like if Gotham City is in Jersey or somewhere in the
Tri-state area.
yeah, in the mid-Atlantic, where the hell is this work camp?
That was what I was thinking too. So part of what I was thinking a lot of during this episode is, God, this feels like a Silver Age Batman story. Like that was the first thing. Like it had the kind of moral message to it. It had this weird, funky disguise plot, and it inexplicably was in the middle of the desert on the East Coast. So to me, this reads as a Silver Age script. Like if this were in Batman the Brave and the Bold, I think it would be a lighter tone, but it would still be the same episode at its core. You know what I mean?
Also, like Bruce dyeing his hair gray. What does Bruce Wayne do whenever he has to make public appearances until that grows out or washes out?
One of the things that bugged about this episode is at the end when they go back, Bruce's hair isn't grey anymore. And neither the two guys he was with, who don't know he's Bruce Wayne at this point, question why his hair colour has changed. It's like Also, the one guy he's with in this camp is slightly darker Lex Luthor from Superman the Animated Series. I think it is the same sheet.
I think it's the same model, just a little bit thinner than the one that goes to final in Superman the Animated Series.
Maybe it
Yeah.
was Lex Luthor.
That's what gave Lex Luthor his change of heart. I did like Alfred this entire episode. Can we just say Alfred is the GOAT? Alfred is the best character in all of Batman mythos. This was such a good turnout for him.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. From Zimbalist Jr. Anytime you put him in there.
I love his I claim this land for Spain when he falls out of the Batplane. Unfortunately, it is kind of Deus Ex Alfred a little bit in this episode, because what sort of finally shakes Bruce loose is him seeing the Batplane, which obviously has a change of clothes in it that allows him to go back to the camp and play funny buggers in the mine. But he goes full Ark. The mine sequence is Arkham Asylum, which quite amused me, because it is like he's in the shadow, popping out, pulling people off ledges. I was waiting for the little button prompts.
Yeah, counter here. Silent takedown here.
There's something about the pacing of this particular episode, and if nobody else felt this, I'm okay with it. But like, there's something very. This episode felt like it belonged somewhere else. For some reason, I could not help but think of this as like an X-Men 96 episode or something like that. Like the way this worked felt very different from the rest of the show in a way that I find kind of confusing.
Well, it's not Art Deco, I think, is a big problem. Like, it's very even our villain Biggs, who is just a big fat dude,
Biggest.
Biggest. He is dressed like sort of the Colombian mobster, the guy from The Simpsons who's like, I shouldn't tell you about Krusty's bank account. That, which isn't really a Batman archetype. Like, it's very odd, and yeah, the Prison Break thing feels more X-Men-y in general. It feels like sort of one of their post-apocalyptic twists.
It felt Captain Planet-y in certain places. I don't know why, but the pacing of this felt like a Captain Planet episode.
Ooh, this guy looks like a Captain Planet villain, to be fair.
Doesn't he look like a Captain Planet villain?
Captain Planet has that unfortunate thing of everyone evil is ugly. And as an ugly person, I resent that.
Hey.
it was there. I had to use it. Yeah, he does feel like his whole thing is like, I want gold at all costs. And it's kind of, when we've already had like Joker and Man Bat, who's like, I will turn myself into a massive bat. I just want quite a bit of gold. He's like, oh.
He's Goldfinger.
Yeah.
Though I always have to point out, Goldfinger isn't trying to rob Fort Knox in the movie.
That is true.
Yeah, what's your favorite? Is the best Captain Planet villain the guy that looks like the Shocker?
Ooh, that's a good question. Who's the one that Tim Curry voiced? The one who's in the end credits going, you'll pay for this planet.
The not Claw, the not Dr. Claw.
The not Dr. Claw.
I don't know I don't think it was the Yellow Man.
Meg Ryan in that show too? Wasn't she like the blonde villain?
Is she the evil cosmetic?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dr. Blight is Batman Beyond, right? Or
that's very Batman Beyond.
Well, it's like straight up like the Dr. Phosphorus. They just turn into Blight for Batman Beyond. Anyway, yeah, I mean the Unwelcome or the Forgotten, whatever we're calling this.
The Unforgiven, the Metallica album.
Yeah, I would rather listen to the Unforgiven 1 through 3.
That's a lot. That's a lot of Metallica in one shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is just a very odd episode. Again, this has that thing where the second Alfred turns up in the Batplane, we're in a new script now. We're in Arkham Asylum again, and it's like, okay, this doesn't really gel with. And even the villain doesn't really get. I was waiting for a moral, which we never got. I was really expecting this guy should have died. Like, he should have, like, tried to save his gold and then got the mine collapsed around him. And then Bruce could be like, see, look, greed is bad. I tried to save him, but, his own greed undid him. But we don't get that. He just gets carted off to prison. He's like, oh, okay.
You want this guy to grab onto Bruce and be like, if people valued home more than gold, the world would be a much merrier place, Bilbo Baggins? Like, I don't know. Like, is that what we're looking for here?
Looking for anything.
It just felt like such a lackluster ending. It felt like a kind of a less of an ending and more like, okay, we're done here. How long is this episode? 22 minutes? Cool, stop.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, like, looking back at this in rapid succession with the Charles Dickens episode, the Fagin episode, I like the Sewer King more than I like
Biggest.
biggest yeah the Chain Gang Man. Similar
So,
theme, kind of, or at least they both are shows with messages. They're both outliers in terms of rogues galleries and what they have Batman do, and him dealing with forgotten populations or marginalized populations. But they both suck, and this one's slightly worse, I think.
Yeah.
Sewer King at least gives us Batman versus alligators.
Yeah.
Yes.
Something about this particular, I don't know what it is, and this is going to be a deep reach into the DCC list character bag, but something about Biggest and his like drug kingpin look just made me think of Snowflame, like so hard. And everything in me is like, if you were going to be brave about it, Batman the animated series, you should have made it the cocaine powered supervillain to do this and be mining cocaine.
Ah, yes, the Nevada cocaine mines.
Yeah, the Nevada cocaine mines. Everybody knows about that.
Yeah, I mean, he's basically Biggest is basically Kingpin meets like Boss Hog from the Dukes of Hazzard meets Strother Martin from Cool Hand Luke. There's a lot of stuff going on here.
This is the kind of character that I'm about to be really not charitable to a very specific era of comic books. This is a character that feels like in an early 2000s like grim dark comic book like Ultimates, you would be seeing him like covered in sweat and drool and like a big like panel of him being sawed in half or something, like that's what this feels like, a villain that's meant to be disgusting and cut in half.
So he's an EC Comics villain.
Yeah, essentially.
He would also kill someone, which I think is kind of. I get whether, because his thing is he locks you in a metal box if you're naughty, which, yeah, he does say it will kill you, but it's not really a. I don't know, it's a horrible death, but not a horrible death on screen. Because we never really see the results of it. So it's just, you could believe it's just the hole in Great Escape, and you're just Batman just there with a ball the entire time.
Yeah, it is that. I mean, that's another kind of Cool Hand Lukeism, right? The idea that they have this break chamber to try to break Bruce.
The metal box where we warm people up, though. And again, that's also what makes this hard to pinpoint where this is, because how far away are these mines? They're in the desert where this is enough of a problem.
Do they ship them from Gotham to Nevada? Do they like what's the process here?
Also, this guy's eating fresh food whenever we see him, and like, if you've ever done like desert hiking, getting fresh food in his. So has he got like a mule train, like running from the? It turns out it's like 20 minutes from Vegas by bus. He's getting it Ubered in.
Yeah, it could it could be like Red Rock Canyon or something. He could just
Listen, somebody's offering the Chain Gang tour of Red Rock Canyon right now. Do you know how much money people would pay for the authentic Chain Gang experience?
Yeah.
We'll soon find out, because if you go to www.iwannabeonthechaingang.com,
yeah, which hasn't been trademarked by Chrissy Hind for some reason.
And if you that's a good cut. And if you put in our code, put me on the Chain Gang, you get 50% off your first day on the Chain Gang.
Shouldn't it be 50% more for the more authentic experience?
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're gonna pay us like it's 1850.
Yeah. Do we have to dye our hair gray?
Yes.
Yes. And one of us has to get amnesia. Like that is very important to the whole story here.
Yeah, well, we can hit ourselves in the head repeatedly. Before we move out, just something for a bit of trivia for this. Boyd Kirkman, the director, notes that there was a sequence at the beginning where Batman is wandering around the city trying to find out why people was disappearing. It was staged with homeless people hanging around on sidewalks, families, mothers and kids. They made us take out all of the broads. They said it was too much for kids to see that maybe a woman or family can be out on the streets. They specifically asked that we only show men as homeless.
Not to get all socio-political on you for a second, but to get all socio-political on you for a minute, right? as we all know, I live in a major metropolitan area, and homelessness is very visible in New York City. Like you see people from all walks of life, you see families, you see women with their children, very pregnant women on the street. And I think, in a weird way, we're first of all by saying only seeing men, we're undervaluing the effect that homelessness does have on men because men are disproportionately single and homeless on the street, often due to a lot of things outside of their control. But on the other side of it, it's cleansing it so much that it's like, oh well, these lives are more disposable, so we can show that to me is almost more insidious.
Yeah, and I think I think it really hammers home with both these episodes. We're seeing the same problem here a bit. Is standards and practices are very much got their fingers on the scale. I think you definitely get the impression in these early days. This is kind of before a lot of stuff was happening, so I get the feeling that at the moment Batman doesn't have the ability to be like, "Hey, look how well we're doing." Which later on we'll get some stuff where they're able to be like, "Look, people like us. We can take some risks." Here they're being pushed down, and rather than fighting it or cutting episodes, they're kind of going along with it, and you end up with these awkward mishmashes where nothing really tracks.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's the problem, right? Like it's just like you were saying, you can see the seams on the first episode. And this episode is just kind of like the second episode is like, what is this? Like what are we doing here, guys?
But but it's interesting because at the same time, the worst episodes of Batman the Animated Series would be like middle ground to pretty good episodes of a lot of other shows, which speaks to the quality of this particular show.
I think it also helps that we have the benefit of hindsight. We know these guys can do social issues really well. So it's a shame when we see them, especially on this one, kind of fail one a little bit. Like this feels a bit middle of the road, sort of hedging their bets a little too much. When later on we'll see them go all out on a social issue they care about, and it really shows.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's we know how good we're not angry, we're just disappointed.
Not angry. I know you could have done better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the takeaway from this isn't one like, oh, I couldn't get through this. I did perfectly fine. It's just one of those you go, oh right, this is the reason I never see this on the tapes, and you never really see this one in reruns. And it certainly isn't the one when you go online. It's the one you see people posting screenshots of and talking about. No,
It's not going to be on the top 10 list, you know?
Oh no. Based on the sort of interviews, it doesn't seem like it'd be on the guys' top 10 list either. So, but this does mark one very special benchmark. Mm-hmm. This is the only episode where Batman and Joker are voiced by the same people. Kevin Conroy voices Joker during the hallucination here.
That's cool.
I guess didn't want to get Hamill in for a single line. It wasn't probably worth it. And from what we can tell, the hallucinations seem to be a last-minute addition. So for a single line.
Yeah, it works to a degree in this because it's also an extension of Bruce's psyche. So creatively, at least that's the cop-out answer I'm going to go with.
Hamill getting out of bed unless it's 50 grand.
Yeah. Or a Wing Commander game.
Or a Wing Commander game because he just really likes Wing Commander.
Well, he can shoot those in bed. You only ever see him from the shoulders up.
Yeah.
There's one where he's climbing a ladder. There is one where he's climbing a ladder.
There's one where he starts out like in a dive bar. I want to say it's like Wing Commander 4 or something like that.
I think that's Wing Commander. Like it's 3 or 4. But it's a later Wing Commander.
There's a period where it was like, hey buddy, is everything okay? I see you're doing a lot of Wing Commander.
Everybody, welcome to the new Wing Commander podcast.
The people I'm dating coming in 5 minutes on the computer at 4 a.m. You've been doing a lot of Wing Commander recently.
Oh my god, that would be in a Kojima game where all of a sudden you've been playing too long. Hey, you've been playing a lot of Wing Commander. Maybe put the controller down, son.
Just Psycho Man's like, Jesus, are you okay? Seriously, man, just.
I've already notified your therapist. What's wrong with you? But let's.
Descent is right there. You could just do that instead.
Could just do that. But let's get some final thoughts in here. What are our final thoughts about these 2 episodes?
I mean, they're fine. They're like you all were intimating, they're not unwatchable. They're just not as good. They're a cut below the standard fare when it comes to Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah, these are not the worst cartoons ever aired. That's but again, Batman the Animated Series is one of the best, so it should be doing better at these things. The only reason to watch these now is if you are interested in that behind the scenes stuff, because this is a sort of a rare chance to see a show that is very highly regarded on a week where the stitching is showing. And that there is something kind of fascinating about that. I wouldn't say it's something you put on for fun. They're just not that well put together. Just go back to episodes to Ivy, go from the later Joker ones. But if you're interested in seeing how sort of 90s car the sausage being made, these with like the episode guide are just really fun. It's just entire things of like, we did this, got told off, did something else, got told off. But yeah, it's not worth it. That's why I had time to fetch a Tom Servo puppet specifically to fill time.
To me, these episodes are what I would call homework episodes. And what I mean by that is that when these episodes come on during the Toonami block, you can kind of watch it, but you're more than okay with finishing up your spelling homework at the same time so that you can get into Dragon Ball when it starts up. But yeah, like they're fine. They're fine episodes. If they were in any other show, they would be middle of the road to better quality episodes. In this particular show, they are just up against too much competition to be remembered very well. It's not going to be on your Miss Mojo top 10 list. It's not going to be on your IGN top 20 list. But like John said, if you want to see how the sausage is made and see when people are getting their feet under them, it is actually a pretty fascinating little snapshot into that. And Kevin Conroy is always a joy, and we love Alfred. We stand Alfred in this house, but that does mean that it is time for us to pull into our final destination. That's right, it is time for us to disembark from Toonami Absolution. We want to thank you once again in joining us and talking about the shows that made us us and the shows that made you you. We have been your hosts. My name is Alyx.
I'm Sam.
And I'm John.
And we'll see you next time. Bang.